Yeah, it's first.
I think we're good. I'm just gonna print out.
Yeah, for sure. They're very intense. Yeah, it's very intense.
Yeah, I'm just gonna print it.
You have to do more. You have to do more than just pick one.
You guys are so crazy, right? It's like, I was like, we really got along with like any of us trying to help out your little herd. Like really hard work. So like, very good. We're a bunch of very, very,
Hey. Okay. We have this as microphone. We can have two.
Sick.
Yes.
Okay.
What are you going to do in the half hour?
I haven't tested
People are
this.
gonna start moving in here and getting set up.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta print these scorecards for the judges.
Perfect.
Why not? When you convey subvectors that they take. Yeah. So I'm waiting. Reorganize it. That's the commonality. So you're from embedding rather than inference.
So he knows how to enterprise that. Yeah, he knows how to leadership.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Building on top of OpenAI's APIs.
Yeah.
Filtering tags. Long term.
Ryan!
Our head of tech is
So explainability just like, hey, we have like this year-long contract. We know how many investors.
They're pretty good. They share the same need.
That's how we're developing. Someone comes along and says, wait, what if you could automate this? What if you could do this? And you could save money, and your CSAT would go up 15%. And they say, oh, that's cool.
Really?
That works. It's like, you can, yeah.
Basically, like I gotta deal with that. It's like literally like
This family, right? It's called family. And then if someone attacks that family, but it's certainly not
He never really got it. Not this guy. Oh, Jiffy or something. Yeah. He built one. They never really got that.
Yeah.
But like not just like a pretty website, like CDP integration. Like they just back it, right? So we can like take this and we just like
It comes from a place of a lot of respect, right? Or deference to like a singular Ryan, please stop.
More cowbell.
We need more cowbell.
and your name, sorry.
Yeah, dude.
That was worth it. Worth every $5 cowbell.
we're like, so I was like, hey, who's doing it? I'm doing models work together. Yeah, like you your framework. So you think your friends can just go to
This is another part of it.
right?
I mean, now it's
Basically,
like
bounding boxes. Yeah, three different models. Train, security.
She said you know something good. Yeah, I think so. I don't know if I'm there. I'll text you. I'm good.
Thank you. I didn't even like hear the questions.
The league is a big.
Oh, really?
I really hope that everything like stays okay.
I don't even love this shit.
Yeah. I hope like these friends. I to have a second option. I think
I haven't officially. Do you think we should hire him? Do you think we should
Who booked form?
I would love to. Yeah, because I want. I think I want to hire him, but I also don't want to make mistakes. So I want to make sure that because I did references and people basically said that I think amazing hire for us. Like it's not like take back stuff. Like you could probably do this.
What's up?
I said I'm a little worried about it, but I don't. I feel like this is like deep.
Alice is here.
Oh, really? Who's really starting? What's your number?
Yes. It's always
You know, we're in the
We're not gonna all people like so yeah, they've been hacking since once we were in the stage that's like 1 a.m. Yeah, there's been like psychologists I feel like everyone's just
then I'm gonna like have all these other people join.
So thank you guys. What's your Alice literally took a red eye last night from 7 Well, so here's the everything that David and I and open to feedback, but basically we were thinking and it's kind of self-conscious. It should be like a new idea, up to 5 like real world impact, the robust like it shouldn't overly overweight like how bad everyone is. I think that's a component of like how much they build. or help a number of it has to sustain itself. Or it could be something you'd raise $1 million for and it wouldn't be sustainable. You spend the money and have it doing it. Don't tell them. You give them $5. Helping the war effort is going to be oh no, sorry.
Ryan asked me to share the hackathon event. I didn't know you had any connection with it. Like 3 of my friends, like from random places in my life, decided to come here, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we're at the hackathon." And I'm like,
good.
"This is the best thing ever." Or you're
So
DJing,
good.
right?
No, I'm just like doing the live stream. Yeah, I mean, this.
minutes. So this 3 hour like this, 1 to 2 hours. If you keep charging battery, it dies really fast. So you have to keep replacing it.
I'm not.
It's quite crazy.
Well, no.
I like to use
One sec, buddy. I just have to focus. Do that. Because I have a little bit of an issue.
You were ready to go. Should we like call people?
So yeah.
So I'm just happy.
Yeah, the judge and then like look for me.
We'll do it in this order. And how long did it happen? It's so timing.
You guys are in the chair.
The hot seat? You got 5? 5. Okay, sweet.
Okay, so how are we actually plugging in for presentation? Just like yours, like
I think we'll do. We're trying AirPlay, but we also have a USB-C to HDMI.
Cool.
So we have an option and a fail-safe.
Cool.
So hopefully it
Do you have WhatsApp on your computer?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is it going? Is it going? Is it going? Testing, testing, testing. Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing. Yeah?
Well, that's because I was not in the latest. Can you talk again?
Testing, 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 testing. Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing, testing. We are testing, 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 testing. We're gonna use this mic when we're on the, just for this for the live stream.
Not fast?
That's a backup.
Is that
It's a mic.
I don't hear anything?
It's for the live stream.
What happened here?
It's projected voices. Testing, testing, testing. I think it's okay. Problem is, it's too complicated to do both because the sound gets messed up. Testing, testing. Great. I guess we are using this. Testing, testing.
I felt like it's one of those things where like in your head you're like you don't realize how
That's fine. I think that's gonna be easier.
you don't know how you're
And even if there's a bit of a lag, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I'm not concerned about the lag.
Just put it here on this flag. No ducks or anything. Just put it here like this.
You know that.
One is at the level of like GPT. You want to tell us that? Side of training?
Would it be impacted by spam? Or like, can I spam on the back end of Gemini? So you know, like, if I ask you the best restaurant in New York, it will decide if it's only you.
It's like just going to generate text.
No, it'll give you a comment for how to rate restaurant in New York. But you know, it could give you stories. Let's say I want pizzeria. Okay? I'll be able to pay. So far, if I ask what's a good pizzeria, I'll tell me first.
You want to pay so that you come first?
There's no SEO with AI.
Will I be able to know as a user?
You're working Google too?
Of course.
I'm surprised that you took this
Isn't that like
off of
super unethical though? Like you kind of have to tell someone.
I might. Yeah, you did. Absolutely.
I've never worked in that.
You're a Googler. So we had at like one of our through our program we had a agency called Professional Development Leadership. We had the ethics officer of Google come and speak to us. He's a very interesting fellow.
Was it big, sir?
But he's a really funny guy.
Okay, let's get started. Everybody can take seats. Come to the front. We got a lot of room in the front. Move up, move up. Don't be shy. A lot of room in the front. All you people standing in the back, come grab a seat. It's comfortable. Someone can sit on the couch.
What? No.
You're gonna love it.
Oh, you're right. You say it.
All right. Exciting. Move up. What are you in the back? You guys have all been in sweat-filled rooms for 24 hours, smelling each other. What are you doing shy? Come sit in the labs. You disgust me, but I'm proud of you.
It's true. How many of you showered?
Okay, so
But it was in the spirit of the hackathon.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we.
Ample time.
he's like, right. We still have chairs at the front for those of you who want a chair. Because you've been sitting for a while and you want to stand, that's reasonable. All right, let's get started. Okay, so really quickly, we want to thank you guys for being here and making this happen. You know, Viv and I and a few friends, Seth, we've been working on a lot of fundraising efforts the last few weeks in New York for Israel. I think it's so easy to feel helpless. We all know that feeling. We're far away from something that's been hurting us. And I've been really proud of the fundraising we've been doing. But I have to say, Aviv kept calling me, like, it's not enough, we're not doing enough. And like 10 days ago, texted me and was like, let's just do a hackathon. I keep coming up with ideas to build things, and you're not building anything, so let's just do a hackathon. And this is what happened. So, like the smallest inception idea, we just thought, okay, let's just send a few messages. So I really give credit to you for feeling like paying money is important and it's necessary, but we can do more and we come together and do more. And that's testament to your vision.
So I have to say, 27 hours ago, when we first kind of congregated in this room, and I said, all right, make teams and go build stuff. I didn't know what would happen. A little nervous, right? Like nice vision, beautiful idea, but how is it actually going to work out? And I think I can speak on behalf of all of us to say we've just been absolutely blown away by all of you. So first of all, thank you to everyone who showed up today and yesterday and kind of worked incredibly hard over the last 26, 27 hours. We never could have dreamed it in a million years, and just to see the amount of passion in all of you, kind of, it's contagious to all of us. And I think Ryan put it really well. He said, in a time of destruction, we're building. And I think looking around the room, it's been incredibly powerful to see you guys. You know, some of you we know. Most of you, I think, we don't even know. And so you just showed up here, you didn't know who we are. The whole thing was kind of like, how did this thing come together? And really, like, we couldn't have imagined it to be any better. And we think there's some really great projects to be presented today. We're so excited to see what everyone's come up with. And so I just want to say, before we get into all the projects and before we get into the details, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who participated, to everyone who came and helped ideate, to everyone who showed up for us, for Israel, for the Jewish people. None of that is lost on us, and it's been incredible just to facilitate it, be a part of it, and be in this room with all of you. So thank you, and I'm going to hand it right back to
A word on our sponsors. Vine, thank you so much, and Leap Forward are sponsoring our prize, a lot of amazing meals, as you guys know, snacks. So thank you guys for making this happen. This is all material I get in just a few days. And I just can't echo enough what Viv said. People came together and just got creative, and there was so much ingenuity and hard work. Like we left here late last night, and I got here early this morning. People hadn't left, and they were just so animated. And I spoke to a lot of people who did leave, and I couldn't sleep because I was so excited about what I was building. And that feeling of creating is just beautiful, and like what's sustaining, I think, a lot of us in this room. So yeah, just to the builders who made this, who made crazy stuff that we're going to see. You should feel so proud. Like this is the best of what we can do right now. So thank you. So good stuff.
Hey everyone. First of all, just want to give a huge thank you to Ryan and Aviv, who had this idea and have done all the work to make this thing happen. And also shout out to Raphael for this amazing space that you use us in. Okay, so my role is to introduce the judges, the criteria for the $2,000 prize, as well as the opportunity to get between $250,000 and $500,000 of grant money for anyone who wants to continue working on these projects. And without belaboring the point, I want to echo what Aviv and Ryan have said. Like this last month, I personally had a lot of moments of darkness and just felt like the world was a heavy place, and it's just hard as an individual to feel like you can have an impact. But this weekend has just given me so much energy seeing all of you like building and being inspired and coming together. And like I think many of us were strangers, and we've all met some new friends and been inspired by each other and learned new things about how we can help. So onto the judging. I'll first introduce the judges, and then I'll tell you guys about the judging criteria, and then we'll get into it. So we have David Hersey here, who's the CTO of Leap Forward. He's the sponsor of the prize for tonight. And Leap Forward is a nonprofit. I'll let David introduce you for a minute afterwards. Alice Lloyd George in hot seat number 2. She's the founder and managing partner of Rogue Ventures. And Rogue Ventures is an early stage venture fund focused on frontier technology. So Alice is kind of into the weird and the wonderful. So if you have a chance to meet her, you'll have an interesting conversation. And then Jonathan Triffman is a partner at Expanding Capital. It's a Series B plus growth stage firm focused on backing high growth technology. And Jonathan's a great guy and an important member of the venture community in New York. Last but not least, you have Will Rubin, who is a builder and operator. So Will Rubin actually hired me at Facebook, and he was there for almost 10 years. He was a director of product at Instagram, running all of their machine learning and algorithm and ranking products. And he was a VP of product at Uniswap, and he's now a founder of an AI startup. Because we had too many investors on the panel, so thank you, Will, for joining. Now on to the criteria. So we have 4 categories. The first one is innovation and originality. The second one is real-world impact against the goals that we all have of helping Israel and combating anti-Semitism. The third is the robustness of what you build. And we decided to deprioritize just focusing on the technical capability of what you built, and just look at it more holistically of, is this a really well thought? What did you actually deliver in the last 24 hours? And then the last is alignment with values and themes of the hackathon, right? In the sense of empathy and cooperation, and trying to avoid divisiveness. I'll hand it to David just for a minute to introduce Leap Forward, and then I'm going to introduce the first team, which is the team working on combating anti-Semitism on college campuses. So David, I'll pass it on to you, and then we'll call the first team.
Thanks, Seth. I think a lot of you probably have gotten to know me, and I've talked to you a bunch about before, but really simply, if you boil it down to just 2 sentences, we're a nonprofit organization based in New York City, founded 15 years ago, to foster cooperation and interdependent community on the court in human society, with an intention of evolving humanity one community at a time. That's hard. But we, it basically draws on neuropsychosocial on-the-court work in community, supported by technology, and I provide some of that technology. So.
Awesome. I'll call up the first team, which is working on combating anti-Semitism. Each team will have between 5 to 10 minutes, and Ryan is the timekeeper. After that is the 1 minute a day gamifying political activism.
Hi, everybody. I won't echo what everybody said, but thank you for organizing. Seriously, it's been amazing. And to meet everybody here. Let's give us a second hackathon, but we still got to deal with the tech. So my name is Tomer Dorfin.
You're speaking or you wanna or title?
Hi everyone, my name is Doreen, and I'm going to start with a personal story. So I've always been a community organizer, especially in the Jewish community, but generally love bringing people together. And as a third-year law student at Columbia, I was the head of the Columbia Law Israel organization, known as CLIO. And I was organizing an event with a speaker that we had in the past. And then, due to an administrative error, I was told by the Dean of Student Services that neither I nor my organization, CLIO, would have the ability to host any events for the remainder of the academic year. And then, to make the situation more egregious, my VP, who was the only other member of the organization, was also not allowed to host any events under the CLIO umbrella. And so effectively, the only organization that was standing up for Israel was silenced by the administration at Columbia Law. And this is just one example of the types of incidents that are happening at many campuses across America. And these are the same campuses that are training the future leaders of the country.
And so the problem we decided to focus on is that data on campus anti-Semitism today is not easily findable or actionable. And this is extremely important because the decisions made by the people that would otherwise have access to this data, donors, influential Jewish people, students, the schools themselves, don't have what they need to make decisions. Today, from what we've understood, it's a patchwork of forwarded messages and ad hoc collaborations that eventually lead to isolated instances when maybe something is fixed. And so our solution is an easily searchable database for schools, influential Jewish people, donors, students, to identify campus anti-Semitism and more importantly, to take action. This is just, in my mind and in Doreen's mind, a single initial step in a much more important, much broader vision, which is to secure the Jewish people in Israel's position among the future generations of this country. Because the people today who are exposed to the anti-Semitism are the people that are going to be leading us in 15 years' time in Congress, actually. So Doreen will walk you through the prototype that we put together, and then hand it back to me, and we're happy to take questions.
So basically what we created here is a scorecard for each university. We decided to start with Columbia Law. I'm not a student there anymore. I graduated in 2020, but I still speak to a lot of students, and we found it was easier to start here. And basically, our goal is to provide information to empower stakeholders ranging from prospective students who are thinking about where they want to go, school administration who may be thinking about which kinds of solutions they may want to implement if they do want to truly improve what the campus environment is like for Jewish students. And then also for donors who are thinking about whether or not they want to put their money at the school. And a lot of times, I think right now we've seen a lot of donors, especially at Columbia, no longer want to be associated, whether it's in terms of donating their money or even being on the board at Columbia. And our goal with this is to just have all of the information in one place, because as many of you know, there are organizations like Canary Mission where you can see specific anti-Semitic incidents, professors, healthcare professionals, like different people, but it's hard to find all of the information in one place of what's happened on campus to students. And so these are, I'm going to share with you what we've included in the first iteration in terms of the factors that we're looking at when we're thinking about our scorecard. So the first factor that we included is anti-Semitic incidents and hate crimes. So for example, unfortunately at Columbia, there was a Jewish student just sitting working on his laptop, and another student just passed by and said loudly, "F you Jew." And the campus, the administration didn't do anything about this. So incidents like that, professors with history of anti-Semitic rhetoric, unfortunately, we have some professors that are very anti-Semitic at the law school. And so highlighting that and exactly what they've done. Programs on campus, so how often is there anti-Semitic programming? And the way we looked at that, one way that we looked at that is seeing how often anti-Semitic speakers are invited to speak on campus. So speakers who are identified on Canary Mission or otherwise are known to be anti-Semitic. And then the last factor that we included in this iteration is the amount of funding from Qatar, whether the school has a satellite location in Qatar. So factors like that kind of give a sense of what the campus currently looks like. And as you can see actually, so if you look at the Qatar funding, I don't know if you guys can see, it's right here. That one scored a 0, meaning that there was, we didn't find any information about Columbia Law School being funded by Qatar in any way, and we don't know of any satellite location in Qatar. So it's not about like canceling a school or blaming them for things or anything like that. The idea is more, this is a neutral database for the different stakeholders to just be informed and be able to make decisions. And so that's the iteration we have now, and some of the factors that we plan to include in the next iteration are DEI initiatives and mandates. So do they talk about Jews? Does it mention anti-Semitism? Are Jewish students protected? And this is both on their face and in their implementation. Another one that we thought was very important and would love to include in the future is response to anti-Semitic incidents and hate crimes. Unfortunately, right now, there's not much going on in that sense. Resources available to students for safety. Is there police on campus? What's going on? If there's a huge protest in the middle of the law school. And then finally, the anti-Semitic trajectory. Is the law school hiring more anti-Semitic professors, fewer than they have in the past? Is there more anti-Semitic programming? Not as much. So different factors like that. Those are the main ones that we thought were important for this and future iterations.
And I think also I just want to underline one of the things that Doreen said. This is really not at all about canceling anybody. I think that this is really just about disseminating information because people are making decisions with their actual dollars and cents. They're making decisions about where to spend their time and who to support. Can you imagine for a second that you supported a school or spent money on a school and it turns out that they were in favor or didn't kind of speak out against something that you felt very passionately about, like we all do here. I want to show you one more thing that we put together because we also, we thought about what can we do with ChatGPT, obviously. And we made a ChatGPT bot that grades curriculums. We also made the fake curriculum with ChatGPT in a different instance. It's a little meta, but yeah. And so you can see over here, we gave it a bunch of different criteria. I think you just want to hit that button. And it gives a score of 0 to 100. Demo, right? That's all right, well, we'll give it a second. Yeah, right. And so the idea is, you know, these curriculums are what are indoctrinating our future. And we want to make sure that they're not riddled with things that are putting fake ideas, false ideas into people's minds. I don't think I'm being overly dramatic when I say that the people at universities today are the future of our country in 15 years. What do we want them to look like? And what can we do about them today? I think this is the first step in that ultimate journey.
So we'll get scores at the end, yeah?
Questions?
Should we do questions? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Questions from the judges, the audience?
So
who's responsible for putting together this content and deciding the scores?
So that's a good question. It's something that we thought about, but of course, in a short period of time, developing a robust methodology is pretty difficult. I think the data comes from two places. We would do the work internally to pull it down from public sources, from okay, I thought I was talking too loud. From public sources and from private sources. And then we also would love to have content submitted by students, by people that have access to it. So for example, one thing we found very difficult was finding curriculums. It's not easy. That's why we created one.
I have a question for you. Let's say a school you found had a very low score, really anti-Semitic, or not a strong supporter of Israel. Do you think that would influence people to try to donate to the school more, maybe try to change that, or do you think the use case should be to support the schools that are more pro-Israel?
I think the idea is if someone wants to support the school and they have this information, if the school is known to be anti-Semitic, which, for example, we know Columbia is, then the donor can maybe say, I'd love to support, I'm a bit worried about my community. These are some things I'm worried about specifically, or they don't have to mention specifically, but they know what they're worried about, and they can maybe say, is there anything that you're looking to do about this? I'd love to support, but would not feel comfortable supporting if there's not action taken on these things, because I can't support someone who doesn't support my community.
And people love their alma mater, right? So you want to support, but you also want to make sure that you're supporting in the right way.
I agree. Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing. So next up is 1 minute a day, gamifying political action. And then next up is the credibility score team.
You want me to drive it?
Oh, it's okay. I'll move it along. Cool. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Wait, this is going to be problematic. Okay, do you know how to zoom in? Okay, cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Maya, Barak, Jacob, and we worked on the 1 minute a day gamification project. We kind of went through a lot of topics before we landed on this. I think, there were so many different things that we wanted to tackle. There's obviously a lot of change that needs to happen, but once we came across this idea of phone banking and what we can do right now to help people in Israel, to help the people we love, to help the situation, we stumbled upon 1minuteaday.com, and found an existing phone bank that basically makes it really easy to find your congressman, and you can reach out to them and call them basically every single day for 1 minute a day. And it sounds like a really simple thing to do, but it's one of the most powerful things that can happen. Sorry, my throat's really dry. I've been here for 27 hours. And I think that taking that into account is kind of why we started with this. So we were using an existing platform, and we wanted to look at the pain points that were happening. There's a lot of issues with getting people to call 1 minute a day. It's not a behavior that people do all the time. It's new. The world's changing really quickly. People are trying to help, and people are calling, but not enough. People are reaching empty mailboxes, and then they kind of lose a bit of motivation. So how do we get them to stay on top of their congressman? Because at the end of the day, our congressmen and our American leaders are the ones negotiating the releases of the hostages who are kept right now, and that's not top of mind for them. A lot of the people protesting and calling them are supporting ceasefire and are supporting Palestinians, and that's what's top of mind for our congressmen. Not to say that, that's not important, and we don't want, the peace angle is obviously not this, but they're 6xing the numbers that we're getting to right now, and we're just falling at the bottom of their preference list. And the hostages are still there. No one's talking about them. It's kind of like falling in the background, and there are 240 people who need to get released right now. So I think that that's an extremely powerful thing that we can do. You can visit oneminuteday.com now and start to take action. But what we've done is look at a few ways of figuring out how we can gamify it by humanizing the hostages and not just making them a statistic. Using scripts that would basically let you call on behalf of each hostage for 240 days, as well as holding each other accountable through social gamification. And these are the additional features that we're exploring.
So, like Maya said, when we came upon 1 minute a day, we saw it. When we were looking for problem statements and what to solve, we actually looked at what the opposition was doing right now. There's so many people calling for a ceasefire right now, and we don't want a ceasefire, obviously, because we need our hostages to come back home, and it's so important. So we came upon 1 minute a day, and they're doing amazing work in trying to make that accessible for people. So what we decided to do is enhance that capability, and how can we get people more engaged and more accountable to call their Congress people and actually be politically activated. And the ideas we came up with were to create customized scripts. So when you call your congressman, you're not just saying the same thing. You're saying, hi, I'm this person. This is a hostage who I'm calling for. We have a platform that we developed where you can build out and, or where you can actually create a leaderboard with your friends in order to track the streaks of who's calling and create accountability between you and your friends. We text you to remind you every day that this is a hostage who's still stuck in Gaza right now. You need to call today and ask your congresspeople to help get them released. And the fourth was we need to be able to make sure people don't hit a wall, and we're going to use Twilio to detect when a voicemail is full and time a reminder call that way. And I think we have screenshots and demos, and this is 1 minute a day as it is today. And we're gonna walk through the platform as we built it out here. And we have a demo at the end of this. So do you wanna walk through this?
Yeah, I'm not going to go through all the screens and the designs because there's a lot of annotations and things that we designed out, but this is essentially what we mocked up over the last couple of hours. It's an addition and additive features to the existing platform, which could live as a subdomain or get integrated eventually with the site. The things that you're seeing kind of summarized here, and we'll obviously show you what we've built, is a tracker, so you have that visual indication of how many calls you've made, and typically you have 3 or 4 representatives that you can call every day, so you're able to see your progress daily. We can add some fun animations and cool things to celebrate it once you've reached your goal. And then when you tap on the, can you go left? Thank you. When you tap on the representative that you've called, you basically can declare, I've called this person, I'm calling on behalf of Kfir, they answer, or you leave it in the mailbox. They're tracking that call, even if you're not speaking with the person directly, and you get to their voicemail, Congress is tracking every single call that is coming in, and those numbers make a difference. So once you indicate that, you're kind of tracking and seeing who else you have left to call, and then you're able to, and then that would reset essentially every day with a new person that you would be calling on behalf of. With that said, there are additional features that we want to explore, but this is what time allowed, and I'm going to hand it over to Barak to show you what we've built.
Good question. When you say you're calling on behalf of, you mean you're calling on behalf of yourself, or you're calling on behalf of others?
On behalf of the hostages. So,
on the hostages.
yeah, it's like, hi, I'm at address XYZ. I'm calling on behalf of Kfir. He's a 10-month-old baby stuck in Gaza. Please bring him back home. We wanted to add a humanization elements because the stats are just getting in the way of this war. So making the receiver, like me, who's getting the text message, feel more compelled to make that phone call, and also the Congress people to just kind of have that human-to-human moment.
Thank you. So I will start with what we do. Not going to show you. We're not going to show you the sign up and the login. We are a mini social network. We use phone number for authentication. So everyone has a phone number. That's the phone number we're going to call with, and you log in like you log to Facebook or anything else.
I'll be your table.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the speakers.
The speaker gives some echo.
Oh, behind the TV.
Better? No. It is. So here we have our homepage for our social network. You can see the leaderboard of everyone who called. And as we said, we're going to keep them accountable for calling day in, day out. And this is how we keep a strike.
Sample data.
This is sample data. Yeah, that's true. A lot of the people actually that call are also older than just older people because they have the time, and they need a little more instructions and prompts. One of the issues that I think the website currently have is that after you call, you have to go switch back to the website, and it's hard for them to kind of navigate the phone and the text. We haven't fully solved that, but we are in the right direction. One thing we also considered is actually calling on their behalf with AI. There are some legal implications to that. It's not impossible to call and say, hey, I am Barack using AI, but we are going to drop it for the time being. But definitely something we will explore in the near future. For now, we're going to show you the list of representatives that you should call. It is based on your zip code. So everyone has different representative. Correct me if I'm wrong, 2 House and 1 Congress? Senate. Which will bring you here. You're going to call them.
It kicks off the call.
Kicks on the FaceTime, or if you're on your phone, it's actually going to open the dialer. I'm not going to call Schumacher right now, but we can. I did. And then the most important part that we actually mark that we called. And that's how we keep the daily counter. And by tomorrow it will reset and we'll send you a text message, hey, do you have 1 minute? Actually 3 minutes because there's 3 representatives. And you will hopefully call again and again and again. And in a few days, the hostage will go home. Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, and then I also worked on this share screen here. So if you click add friend, that took me a couple hours, but whatever. That you can actually invite your friends and have a personalized link, and then we can track who's sharing more also, so we can have a network effect there. The idea here is to build a platform that we can then extend and create more political action. Hopefully the hostages will be released soon, and this platform can be reused for more Israel advocacy and Israel political activation as well in the future. So.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Questions. Yeah, great job, guys. It was really, really thoughtful, and I like how you built on top of something that's existing, right, so that you can ship it. I'm curious, do you guys research like the relative impact of a phone call versus an email versus a letter? And in terms of automation, would it be easier to automate emails?
We forgot to talk about this, but calling your congresspeople is one of the most important things you can do as an American. They're legally required to listen to every single phone call that you give them. Calling and spending 1 minute a day is the single most important thing you can do as an American. There are aides who listen to every single phone call and have to write it down, and they have a database that's actually built by Lockheed Martin, I learned today, that will track the sentiment of what you said and what you're actually advocating, and that does get back to the congressman, and it really makes an impact on policy.
And also then email.
Yeah. Do the exact same for emails?
Based on the New York Times, create much more engagement and effect if you call versus texting or emailing or even sending a letter.
So basically, you have to call the congressman in your zone or your zip code.
Yeah.
Or congresswoman.
Or congresswoman.
Yes.
Congressperson. Obviously, some of them have pretty strong stances on this issue. Is it possible to target the ones that we know are opposing kind of Israel right now? Or?
Yeah, I think you can call whoever you want. They are required to tally that call with the sentiment. So even if they are, against Israel.
I think
they ask you for your address, so they need to know that you're their constituent. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you would basically do that.
Target this towards people in the right zip codes then.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of marketing and activation we can do, and I think that's why the social sharing aspect of it could reach really wide and far and get people in other zip codes, but beyond New York, activated.
Is there a possibility that bots are robocalling Congress people, and if that's something they don't defend against, why wouldn't we also do that?
We looked into
it. Yeah, we looked into it. So you can we are originally going to wire up an API to have a custom, when you sign up with an account, you sign up with your zip code, so we actually know who your Congress people are. And then we were going to take a voice sample from you, train that voice sample to create a synthetic voice, and actually tell you what the script that we generate beforehand to make that call would be before we actually make that call. We noticed that a lot of the times you do actually get to a voicemail, but sometimes real people do pick up. So it would be a little more complicated than that, but the legality of that is in question. We have two great lawyers who said who promised they were going to look into it for us. But what's important is that everyone is taking action and actually calling, because being a real constituent and really making that call, it pays dividends at the end of the day.
A lot of it is mobilizing elderlies to do it, so they have the time. They just need a reminder to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's just the legal question of bot and spamming, and then just also the optics of it, and will they actually count that as a real call as opposed to someone actually putting in the time.
Right, I was joking that we could have David Attenborough make a bunch of calls to our Congress
We
people.
looked into fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Great job. Next up is credibility score for social media, and on deck is Unit 10-7, who has uniforms, which I appreciate.
So I want to start by saying thank you to A-Team and thank you for all the amazing judges and all the support. It was an incredible experience for all of us. Like you see, we're a lot of people. I didn't know most of them before, and I think it's really nice how you brought us all together here with a purpose. Like everyone is volunteering, everyone tried to do whatever they can, but we were obviously very far. So it was amazing to just be stuck with these beautiful people in a room and just do something good. And we're gonna go out from here. It's not gonna stay here. So thank you, Ryan, for inviting me here, and thank you for this amazing team. We're Reptify, a credibility scoring system. What we're trying to do is to break the equation of a lot of followers mean you're credible. We want to change it. We want to create a platform that shows you how credible you are. Because if you are an amazing food blogger or you're an amazing traveler, it doesn't mean that you can open your voice and speak about politics or about other subjects that you have no idea about, and it means that it's true. So we want to build eventually a platform that anyone can use for API to develop whatever they want, but we build a system that give this credibility score based on credible sources and fact check every post on every social media and check who you are, what's your background, what you're good at, what your topics that you're usually credible for, if your contact is sponsored or it's not sponsored. And then try to give on each post kind of like credibility score. And also we build a platform on top of that that shows you who you follow and how credible they are and how credible you are. Because maybe you don't know that you're posting false information, but it might help you to just go there and see this fact actually counter what you just posted because you felt empathy to someone, but actually it was fake news. So it can help you to, our system is to help everyone build on top of that, but we also give the UI and the app to help you create a better score for yourself. Clear the fake news from your contact, from your social media. Clear the uncredible sources from your following list, and create a new reality for yourself. So how does it look? You basically go to a website. There you can type any link of social media that you want. You can type your own social media, and then you see how credible you are and the posts that gave you this score. You can further deep into each post and see why we gave you this score. Maybe it's not related to your topic. Maybe we have a fact that counter your claims and your content. And then you can go and like maybe delete this post and increase your credibility, or you wanna like send us a message, tell us I think you're wrong, and kind of like be more aware of what you're posting and what people that you're seeing posting.
Yeah, so what we're really trying to do is to make it an inherent incentive for people to try and have a high credibility score. And so we're doing that by targeting people just like us who maybe don't have blue check marks on Instagram, but really want to understand who we're following. We want to be seen as credible, and one of the things that developers can do with our API is they can integrate it into their platforms and provide an additional credibility check for users to have. That doesn't matter how many followers you have or who you are, but matters on the content that you post. So our credibility scoring is, we scraped over 20 different websites. We did not use information from the IDF, Israel, Hamas. We stayed very central in the news sources that we scraped to try and provide only fact-based scoring for our model. So we had, well, you can go ahead actually to the next one. We had about 7 different machine learning models in the back end doing everything from topic summarization to flagging hateful content. And all of this comprises a score for each post, and then each user has a score based on that. That is like a summation or an average of their post scores. So users can display this on their profile within an app if they want. And now we're going to show you a demo.
This is Reptify. That's the way we chose to present you this technology. Just keep in mind that it could be basically any application that use this data. What was important for us to work on the platform, and just here we wanted to present you how valuable it can be. You want to go? Someone want to choose a name? Name?
Okay.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. Let's see. Finger crossed. Finger crossed.
It's a live demo, might I add. May the demo gods be with us.
Wait, it looked cached. No, wait, just wait there.
Just wait, it'll load.
Oh, okay. 57, and we scraped only one tweet. What does it say? Statement from Ranan, brother of Natalie.
Yeah, we go back.
Let's try again.
Try Rashida.
Yeah, Rashida. On Twitter? Yeah. Or X.
Just a second. working.
We didn't
Whatever.
quite have time to implement the interim loading mechanism, although we did have a jazzy one designed in Figma. Yes, it should load.
Let's see what she gets.
And you entered her Twitter handle.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
entered her Twitter handle, and then it
We
pops
put her
up.
to the yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
wow.
Live magic at work. She got a credibility score of 1.
So what it was supposed to show you here, maybe it will still show you because it's very slow, but it was supposed to show you here the score for each post that we brought, and it just show you the last 6 ones, but we take 50 tweets in the backend and go through all of them, and yeah, it's like, and then you can like go to learn more and see why we gave you this content. So for example, a reason can be that your content is against the policy of not specifically of Twitter because you use like, I don't know, some like, instead of like say a letter, you put like a mark that shows this letter. So stuff like that. And I'll let this amazing data scientist to talk about how they did it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to Jackson to talk about the back end behind everything. Oh, I think slide over. Slide. Yeah.
Beautiful. Hi everybody, my name's Jackson, and so I worked on the platform engineering for the API that we created. So we used Dataiku to spin up a machine learning infrastructure and build out all of our ETL pipelines, and all of the data operates using a Snowflake data warehouse. So over here we have kind of a visual representation of how the entire process works. So you can see over here in this little zone that's marked LLM, this is where you can see all of the different machine learning models that we have created to score all of the different tweets and then create an aggregate score for each user that gets run through our API. So I'm going to click into one of them, and if Marissa wants to, she can talk about how it works.
Yeah, this one is so this machine learning model here, we are taking a user's Twitter post and comparing the sentiment to a vector database that we had crawled the 20 different websites from. So we're basically comparing it to try and see whether the the text from the post contradicts any of the information that we have already categorized as factual information in the backend. And also, so that this one does that. We have another one that determines like whether that speech was hateful or has like harmful rhetoric behind it. But this one right here determines whether it was factually accurate.
What's the source of the factual?
Yeah, so a wide variety of data, like UN source data for some of them, like a lot of .org or .gov websites, like there were a couple New York Times articles that we used, but very like specific ones. We used Honest Reporting's website as well, a variety of sources.
And then another cool part of this that we didn't necessarily get to show off in the demo is that after each post gets scored by our algorithms, one of the main pillars of our product is that we want the scoring to be completely transparent. So for each post that gets scored through the algorithm, we also kind of provide reasoning as to why each post was flagged for being anti-Semitic or hateful or just overall inaccurate. So we have data, on whether or not your post was flagged, and then if it was, we also, created a model that will go through and actually give you a reason for why it was in natural language. And so if you were to have, if we went in and clicked into those posts that you saw on the front end, it would have gone ahead and displayed all of that for you to see as well, which is kind of cool. And then kind of going more into the back end. So our demo was live and it was using the actual API. So technically right now we do have a public API for this. So if any developers out there want to build off of it, it's an option.
fundamental, like that we want to rectify your environment so you can shape your own reality. We truly believe that many people just not aware they are posting fake news, and they will want to see this. They will want to see, why did I get a bad score? Why my friend sent me this? Like, it will get to them somehow. And this is just one way to do it, but like each of you that ever had any idea how I can somehow, like, I don't know, do it like a web application, like a Facebook application, a Chrome browser extension, and like when I use it, it will be available, because we had this beautiful opportunity to see 6 expertise, each in their own field, and together in a room for like 26 hours. We didn't go to sleep. We built this system, and we're going to continue build this system because we know that it's hard just to volunteer when you're working and gather a group of people and build something like that. But to build a browser, it's not that hard. Like, you can spend a couple of hours every night, but eventually you have it because you have like this API. So that was the overall idea. We truly believe that take accountability of your actions is important, and people care about their actions. So I want to help them do this.
Let's say I care.
Yeah.
Like my rectified score is 3. Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that because I was just posting.
Mm-hmm.
So I can look in and I can see, like, right, well, you said this thing that wasn't true, and this thing that wasn't true, and maybe this thing was partially true, etc. Like, as an individual, assuming I care, like, is there like a support pathway for like, how do I get better?
So you can see why we give you this score. You can go to each post and see.
There's a button that says
yeah.
learn more.
So you can learn why you got this score. You can choose delete this content, so no one will see them. I don't know, we might consider.
Let's say, okay, that was wrong, but like, okay, how do I do better? Like, I'm trying to talk about Israel, but I have no information. So like, is there like a path to like educate myself?
Yeah, so one of the things that we aim to do with, once we flag a post as false, we want to surface the misinformation. We didn't quite get to show it in the demo today, but we will surface the actual correct fact, along with linking you to that correct news source, so providing an educational opportunity going forward. I think one thing that we would also want to build out, like once we build out the website a bit more, is building out like a reputable news sources section so that people can go and explore on their own for whatever they are interested in.
And people that you can go look for, and we can sort by topics. It doesn't have to be for politics. It can be for food, whatever you want. So those include it.
Yeah, it's actually a very important point to make this platform be.
It's not just Israel, right.
Yeah, to make this platform be very credible and less political. Mm-hmm. It's not just for the Israeli-Palestinian conflicts. It's for everything. It could be food, it could be traveling. Let's say you're posting things about food and your credibility score is 50, so like 50% of your recommendations are really bad. So what does that say? It's just very generalist, and that makes it just more credible.
We wanted to work more in the future. Marking, it's very important to distinguish what is fact versus opinion. So we also want to mark that in the future, like, yeah.
One of the things that we do here is similarity check. We check the forget the word.
Cosine.
Come on.
Cosine symbol?
No. Never mind. Yeah, we check the cosine similarity of the meaning of the text. So if you say your opinion and your opinion is in its meaning, it's close to some source of information, then we know that and we show you what is the source. And
so my opinion is the sky is blue. So you would actually identify that as like, that's a fact.
Yeah, that's a fact because that has been quoted in reputable news sources. And so that's like kind of how the algorithm works.
Amazing work. You guys accomplished more in 26 hours than I have this entire year. Up next is Unit 10-7 that is coming in uniform, so we appreciate that. And after that is the Urgent Political Actions Database. Does that still exist? No? It does? I guess so? Yeah. Okay, so David, you guys are up after.
I'm passing it to you. Perfect. Good to see you, Leila. Hi, everybody. My name is Oran. And since the war started, we have heard from our friends, from reserve, from people that are actively serving, the same thing. We are needing supply, and when we are reaching out to our commanders, we're getting the same answers. It will come, it will come, it will come. And then we realized that we want to come and solve this. And what would happen, we created Unit 10-7, which basically we are the Amazon Prime for soldiers, where we are getting direct requests from units in Israel, and we supply it from the US, from Israel, also supporting Israeli businesses, and getting it as quick as possible to the soldiers. What's the side effect that I got this message today that made me realize is that we also are giving people the way to donate direct to human, which I feel like a lot of Americans here are asking me, like, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? And once they donate money to big organizations, they don't know where it's going. And with us, what happened is because they've seen where it's going, they've seen the soldiers that send them that thank you videos, it made a lot of impact. We raised over almost $300,000 since we started. We have 400 volunteers around the world. And Oran messaged me on Wednesday being like, Oran, do you want to take part of this? I said yes, but I didn't realize what's going to come because the team here has been working so hard, really being so creative, and I'm just so excited for you guys to see what they've done. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank you guys. Jonathan?
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having us. As Oran just mentioned, I mean, one of the things that we had to solve is that this initiative has been really successful. This is a real struggle for soldiers in Israel to get the equipment, and this initiative has been really successful and growing. And ultimately what we had to solve in this problem is a supply chain problem, right? You have a lot of stakeholders, you have items that you need to deliver, and you need to coordinate between all the different stakeholders. That's the reason probably that Amazon Prime is difficult to implement, and many people are working there to make this successful. So I'll talk about the problems, right? Yeah, let's go to the next one. Next one. Yeah. Right. So Orad and Jonathan and Beth, they built like a first version of the solution. They use Google Sheets, spreadsheets, all sorts of solutions to help them make this happen, make it a reality, and this was good. But the challenge again is this was really successful and scaled, and at a certain point they realized that they need some help with the technology, so that instead of spending time, wasting time using spreadsheets and tracking and all of that stuff, they can focus more on helping, getting more and more shipments, more items to Israel. So they used to have, again, Google Sheets. The troubles with this is that you have too many of those spreadsheets and you end up spending a lot of time with them. You have lack of control, lack of processes about how to manage, who approves the data, how do you coordinate between the different stakeholders. Also, lack of visibility into what the state is, when are we expecting to have deliveries. We need to coordinate between drivers, between volunteers, between the flights, so many different stakeholders, and they just needed a better solution to help them coordinate between all of those things so they can live up to the mission of delivering as many items as you can, as quickly as you can.
Right, we're going to switch computers in a second. Thank you.
Okay. So for the solution, what did we do? We created a relational data. What? Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. We created a relational database using Airtable to power it, to really power the fulfillment process end to end. So what Iran said earlier, making sure that the individual who is ultimately submitting the request, the people that are funding it, the people making sure that the soldiers who submitted the request for supplies, they get what they need. Everything is connected end to end. We can see how everything relates to each other every step of the way. So the way that we did that, built on top of one single data set, we created those connected workflows for everyone involved. Everyone from, again, the soldiers who are submitting the request, to the people that are that have to go and actually place the orders on Amazon, to the people who are physically packing the bags and finding people who are getting on planes, finding planes that are going to Israel. All of this logistical nightmare that, again, was kind of being managed literally in a spreadsheet and in WhatsApp chats. So what have we done? We have streamlined the inventory process, automated volunteer engagement, enabled the tracking and alerting, and accelerated delivery. So how does this all work? We will show you. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're going to show you part of this workflow. Keeping in mind there are several different user personas at play here. So to start, our soldier, who is standing over here, all the way in Israel, desperately needs items that are hard to come by in Israel, and submit a request via a form, which they can fill out on their phone. And I believe we saw that item pop up here as he submitted the form over there. So once that's submitted, our fearless leader, Iran, he's going to get a notification on his phone that he needs to approve this request. And he needs to do it anywhere and anytime because we want to get these out there as fast as possible. And he's able to approve that request, gaining confidence that we're buying what's actually needed.
So is Iran like a commander in the IDF? Or
no, he's himself. He's himself.
You're on the state side here. Okay.
He's literally himself. He's not playing a role. I'm playing a role. So yeah. So once that gets approved, you'll see it dropped out of here. We're going to switch personas here. We're going to move over to our fulfillment center. And when he clicked approve, it actually created a whole host of individual orders, each for each of the items that were attached to that order. Attached to that request. So I am the fulfiller. I also am going to get a notification on my phone, and I can log in here, and it's time to go shopping. So here I have easy access to for each of the items, to the links, vetted links that are, this is actually what the soldier needs. We've done that research before. We're maintaining an active database of that. We're able to connect that all back here. Multiple choices for those, because we all know that sometimes things are out of stock, sometimes the prices are crazy, making it easy for the person who is actually doing the shopping to shop around. After this, after the order is placed, I can, for instance, for Camelback, just easily, nothing crazy here, launch up Amazon, but we're working on, we don't have this working yet, but we're working on establishing a connection to Amazon via an API so that as the orders are placed, that information is flowing back into here, automatically connecting to the request for the order, and we can receive those status updates along the way. And then once that order gets delivered, so we're going to change the status here to delivered. And now it's time to get packing. So we have a whole team of US operations, several of which are in the room here. And what they need to do is essentially, there are in the background, which we're not going to show here, but we have forms for this set up. There are people who are filling out a form telling us that there's this flight going at this time from JFK to Tel Aviv. I have room for this many bags that I can take on it. Separately, there's a whole other group of people, a whole other group of volunteers who are submitting saying that they are able to physically drive those bags from New York City to the airport to hand them off to the person who's actually getting on the flight to Israel there. All of those requests are coming in. The individual who is packing the bag is able to, they can create a new bag, add in the different items that are being packed in this bag, get the information that they need to fill out the customs form, and ultimately hand that off to the to that driver to make sure it gets to the passenger, to make sure it then gets on the plane, gets it into the hands of the receiver in Israel, and then all the way to the IDF. So obviously, many steps to this process. We're only showing a portion of it, but the idea is that, again, leveraging a relational database for this, we're able to really connect and track this all end to end. And ultimately, once all the data is there, we can also build a dashboard on top of all of that data and have this update along the way, and ultimately like create different views for anyone who needs to see it, making sure that everyone from those, again, that are donating to those that are receiving to those that are managing the overall process have the information that they need to make this a reality, and again, just have confidence in what's happening here. So with that, I'll hand it off to talk about the roadmap.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so the beauty of it is, compared to other things like FIDF or other organizations, today it's actually raining in Israel, and Iran was on the phone while we were looking and sourcing wetsuits from REI, from all these different organizations. And we have the flight to El Al's tomorrow morning, and they're actually working on sourcing the flights to tomorrow morning for the wetsuits. It's not working. And that's where we're really kind of going with this roadmap. We want to automate and process everything going in there. So in the next like 15 days, the biggest roadblock now that we figured out the procurement part is around customs. So we're going to actually help customs documents and automate all of that going forward. And sorry, I'm trying to think of what else was on the roadmap. We also wanted to do, so QR codes, simple things. Right now, there's literally duct tape on the package, and the package will say, I just have a phone number. We're going to do scanning, so when the driver picks it up at El Al, he'll know exactly how to scan it, and he'll scan the package, and then he'll know exactly where to deliver it. And my buddy over here, he's his geo, so we can actually have him route the most effective route to drop off the packages on the way. So why we call it like the Amazon Prime, we're trying to go to the minute. We're going to automate the process to get to the point where it's scalable and geo-optimized. So when it's raining in Tel Aviv on Tuesday, and we know it's Sunday, we can get wetsuits there in 2 days. And then just kind of scalable fundraising. And a lot of times with organizations, you give, and then you see cargo ships go, and it's impactful, but imagine you give, and then you see that specific soldier wearing that exact thing you get donated. And that's really the beauty of it is, hey, if I gave on a Tuesday, then it comes Sunday, and I can see that soldier having warm gloves that I donated, I think that will give a huge momentum to the organization. Thank you.
Answer that security question. Did you pack your bag yourself?
So it's a good.
I'll answer that. We are obviously telling our volunteers to say that it's donations and they did not pack it themselves. And we are in direct contact with El Al team that approved our drivers and approved the volunteers ahead of the flight. So basically, the way that it works, before the flight itself, I'm getting approval for the amount of bags that we are able to send. And I'm sending the name of the traveler, and also confirming with the security team here in the New York and JFK who is going to be the driver is going to drop it off.
So again, based off of the data set that we built, essentially we could prepare like a package of sorts for the passenger of all that information that they need if they need to verify it. It's just directly tied to that.
Have there been any problems with that, or it's worked fine?
On the sending it out?
Yeah.
So I'm working with El Al before all the items that we have listed that we are saying that we're going to supply to our soldiers is being approved by El Al, that is be able to send, but also being approved by customs. For example, helmets have some other regulations. That's why we're not sending helmets. But headlights, there is no problem with that. We confirmed the type of headlight that we're going to send. We have also people that are actively now serving that are also confirming the supply that we're sending them.
And that's why I feel like we are receiving so many requests. Right now, as we speak, we have over 120 open requests because a lot of soldiers, not only they're getting the what they need, also the quality of the stuff that we're sending them has been super successful.
How successful do you think this will be in helping speed up your operations, and how far away does it seem from being able to use it on a daily basis?
So I think the key to that will be adoption. And the adoption of the Israeli team is something that we have discussed, but I think it's gonna solve so many pain points right now because, we have a lot of people right now that is involved in this process, and to make sure that you communicate with everybody and everybody have transparency of what they ordered, what's arriving to this place, what's arriving there. It's creating so much chaos that I think with this, I know that with this Airtable and with all the automation that the guys build, it's just gonna solve so much. And
specifically, once we get it integrated with Amazon, like my pain points are, I'm an operations manager for Unit 10.7, and my biggest pain point that I wanted to get solved with this team was, kind of being able to easily track the packages that come to my apartment, because I would come home from school and come home to 30 giant packages and not be ready for it almost, and not have friends to be ready to come help pack with me. So being able to easily track that was really important for me. And we're on the right track to getting there. And so I think that almost immediately it can have a serious impact for the operations managers on our side and the Israeli operations managers as well.
Thank you guys for everything you've already done. I have a question and are doing. What's the root cause of Amazon maybe not being able to get packages there already?
Themselves. No, themselves.
Themselves. Now, unfortunately, we're 6 weeks into the situation. We might have some understanding. We know we need gloves, we know we need vests and headlights, maybe helmets and other things. Are there other coordinated efforts we can get support from Amazon or from REI to just make it even more efficient?
I think it's a great question, and I'm really hoping that will be that we're gonna be in a place that I will be able just to submit an Amazon order and be able to say to Tel Aviv. Right now, it's not the case, but if it will be a case, I feel like another thing that we'll be able to solve is to give people the option to say, hey, David, I have now a unit that need these things, come help us. And I think that's also what we give the people to opportunity to donate money, but we also give them the Amazon storefront when people can just buy items. And I think that's what's also causing people to really see that human to human, like I donated now 200 socks, for example.
Well, there's one other point to that, which is every morning he's on the phone with Alal to see how much space is left on the flight. Amazon isn't going to harass Alal to get on the flight. He's on the phone with Alal. Alal said, hey, you can take 20 bags today. They're bringing the bags next.
But Amazon could develop their own logistics to ship to Israel as they do.
That's right.
Right now they're not. That's why literally the only planes that are going are Alal.
Right. Just to follow, what else could this be used for when say the IDF A stands down, B, Amazon figures out the logistics, or C, the government in Israel actually manages to give the soldiers the things that they need to fight? What else? What happens at this point?
It could be a platform. It could be a platform where, so long as you have the right people, it's a people-based platform. Technology isn't going to solve it, but technology can help it there. But if there's right people in place, it can help really any disaster. Anytime there's an issue that there's only a certain amount of planes, there's the right ecosystem and the right community there, the technology can just come in and really help stop the
I'll be completely honest here. I'm hoping that this issue will be done very soon.
We all are.
And I'm hoping that the reason we call it Unit 10.7 is to, right now, is obviously focus on bring Americans and Israelis closer in a way, to give Americans, Jewish Americans, that opportunity to donate directly to soldiers. And then I'm hoping that the next step of this organization would be becoming something that will memorize what happened on October 7th, to make sure that every kid, every person here will remember what happened, and we'll treat it like 9/11 here in the US.
Great work. Without exposing bias, Oran is a friend of mine, and on 10/8, he was literally packing duffel bags full of suitcases, getting cars from around the city to drive to JFK at 3 a.m. Yeah, And so it's amazing that it's turned into such an organized effort. So great job. So next up is Urgent Political Actions Database. And then the last one after that is the Choose Your Own Adventure game. So, David, you're up.
Hey, I'm David. This one will be very quick because my team all disappeared to family emergencies. We will begin with the demo and then I'll explain it. So everyone go to shalom.wtf. SHALOM, it means peace. Assalamu alaikum. I'll give everyone the 20 seconds that this should take you.
Shalom what?
Shalom.wtf.
His type form is not closed.
What?
Maybe there's a limit.
Yeah, maybe the judges aren't allowed to do it.
How many?
I'm in.
Okay. It's an exclusive wait list. So. Okay, never mind. We will send out a link once we fix it.
It's working for me.
Okay.
No, it's not.
It's when you get to the
We have an AI that determines who's cool enough to be on the list. So.
It's just a type form, it's not shown for everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have just asked me for my number.
Okay.
Okay.
It's just two screens. It's your zip code and your phone number, and then you get a text that says, "Welcome to Shalom.wtf. We'll text you when something important happens in your area. Never more than once a month." That's
Okay,
all it's
all right, so just
awesome.
the processing of the post, yeah, okay.
Okay, so the context, it touches on themes that a lot of other teams touched on. But the context is lots of people are very emotional about this issue right now and very motivated to try to help. That's why a lot of people came today. But as time goes by, people are going to become less engaged and pay less attention, and it's not going to be our primary identity in 6 months. But there will continue to be important issues. There are local elections in which, AOC, for instance, is running for re-election a year from now. She's not so pro-Israel. She might have primary opponents or opponents in her elections that are more pro-Israel. Many of us don't even know that these things are happening. Many of us on the team had been in these situations where we've gone to vote for a presidential election, but then we see that there are like 15 other things we're supposed to vote for, and we're Googling the candidates while we're at the ballot box because we just didn't know that those elections were even happening. So what we wanted to do is for people who currently are very driven about this issue, sign up to find out when there's important things that you should know about. So that could be like based on your zip code, there's this primary election that's coming up for a state senate or for various. And we've done the research on who's more pro-Israel, and so we'll just send you a text saying, FYI, this is why we support this candidate, and it's maybe we provide some links on why we have this position. And it could also be, to the point before about the minute a day thing, it could be about contacting people about a bill, about funding for Israel, or about a ceasefire, and we could plug into other things where you just put in your name and then it calls on your behalf and that kind of thing. Or about fundraising for candidates, any of these types of things. So that's the gist of it. It has this cool URL, shalom.wtf, that you can tweet at people or send text to your friends who are interested in this. And we want to build up a big list, and we have a little calendar tool where we can put in the most important things that are coming up, and we wanted it to be once a month so that people, it's not a whole lifestyle thing like APAC and some of the others that are a bit cringe. Yeah. I think that is it.
How do you, that's awesome. I love the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
And the idea that there's going to be some continuity over time.
we wanted to, step one, clean up the website, fix some of the bugs. I'm glad we tested it with all of you guys. This was our biggest beta launch. But then, find the right types of people on Twitter and other influencers online who are not like your diehard. I mean, we've seen a lot of these, like the Amy, is it Amy Schumer? We've seen people like come out and speak about this now, and they have big followings of people who care about this stuff, but they're not like APAC people. It's like too old school and stiff. So it's like finding people like that and having them tweet it, and like giving some people, the types of people in this room, something to retweet and send their friends.
Is this something you're intending to be basically just single issue, like pro-Israel or not? Or are you looking at capturing, like, I care about women's rights or abortion? And,
yeah, so full disclosure, David and I talked about this yesterday. I think this generalizes very nicely to, if you really want to get psychedelics legalized, then you could generalize this software to like, who are the like state congressmen in Ohio that I can like support if I want to support legalization.
How would you connect the dots on that? Like in terms of like, how would you know that Joe Schmo running my district would help me with my particular goal?
So repeat that question.
How would you know that, whoever's coming up for primary, like AOC, maybe AOC is pro-psychedelics. I didn't know that. Would you tell me that she was?
I see, yeah. Well, so the way we've built it now is that we're relying on a human on the team who can curate these kind of mappings between the Israel issue and these other these politicians and other events in the world. Hypothetically, per some of the inspiration from some of the other teams, that it could be an LLM or something that is attempting to connect, like at scale, connect every issue to every politician. Which would be cool too. But for now, we just assume that there's one human who's curating a high judgment kind of list.
And just sorry, one last question. Let's say I'm pro-Israel, which I am, but my friend looks over my shoulder while he's doing that, and he texts this link to his 1,000 Muslim Facebook influencers
Great.
who are rabidly jihadists, and they all start getting alerts to go vote when AOC and all of her ilk are.
We would still tell them not to vote for AOC. So, if they could choose to go do the opposite of whatever we tell them to do. Yeah, that's true.
No, people always do what you tell them to.
Yeah.
On the phone, so that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, great job. Now for the last presentation, and then we'll do a quick 5-minute judges deliberation and close it out. I know it's getting late. So the last team, choose your own adventure game. Let's see it. I'm excited.
We're excited. Oh, nice. We're going to connect it in a second. What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for having us here. We really had a really fun time building the product we made today. It was a really long journey, but we finally made it to the end. It's great to be here. The main problem that we noticed was that TikTok and Instagram are dominating the narrative of this conflict. We've all seen the Instagram stories. We know that TikTok is 50% of the influence it has on Generation Z right now. We wanted to build a product that will make people stop looking at so much social media and start looking at the facts of the conflict. A common thing we noticed is that a lot of people who are sympathetic to the civilians in Gaza feel like the enemy of the civilians in Gaza is Israel, when in reality we all know the real enemy to those civilians is Hamas. So we wanted to build a product that would change that narrative and make them realize that even if you are sympathetic to people in Palestine, people in Gaza, their enemy is not who you think they are. So what we did was we created a build your own adventure product using AI that will allow people to get outside of their echo chambers of Instagram. Because when you post on Instagram, most of the time you're posting to people that already believe what you believe. So we wanted to make a product that maybe can go viral and can get to people that normally you wouldn't get to. We know that Generation Z is going to be influencing future policy of the United States, and we know that Generation Z is one of the most anti-Israel people that there are. So, in general, that's true. So we're going to give it off to Shani, and she's going to explain a little bit more about what we built more specifically.
Hi, everyone. All right. So echoing what Ron said, for this MVP, we built a game called Free Palestine. And yes, in this interactive game, you step into the shoes of a Palestinian girl living in Gaza, and you navigate the complex realities of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and the presence of Hamas.
Nothing on the mother.
Not yet.
Okay.
It's off.
I'm not starting yet. Yeah.
I just turned it off.
So as you play the game, your character's identity is going to shape based on the choices that you've made. Hold on. Yeah. And as you progress, you learn more about.
We're looking at Apple TV or something here.
No, I'll let you know when I'm.
Yeah, we're going to do the demo in a second. We're still going to do the introduction, and then we're going to do the demo in a second.
Can you turn it off for a second? Because it's not ready yet. Turn off the.
Sorry, it was me, I think.
Oh, no worries. Cool.
We're going to wait a second.
We're gonna wait, yeah, and like, there's context, and then we're gonna do the full demo. All right, so your character's identity is going to shape based on the choices that you've made throughout the game, and as you progress, you learn more about the role of Hamas in Gaza. So each choice that you make will have a consequence on your relationships, reputation, and your character's outlook on the conflict. At the end of your journey, you'll see the consequences of your choices and how the impact they've had on the character and the people of Gaza. And as Ron said, our main audience is not pro-Israel, it's actually pro-Palestine and anti-Israel people, because those are the people that we really want to shift their mind and educate them.
And like neutral people also.
And neutral, yeah, absolutely. All right, so now we can do the demo. There we go.
Beautiful.
All right, so very tiny, small letters, but on the bottom you will see a prompt with 3 options and a countdown of 30 seconds. Every slide that we will go through links to key pieces of information that's crucial for understanding the conflict. So for example, here it says, it's October 7th, 2023. You are abruptly awakened by the sound of rustling. Rubbing the sleep from your eyes, you see your brother, Ibrahim, hurriedly packing what looks like weapons. So one of the options is you go and help him, or you pretend to go back to sleep, or you reprimand him. And then on the bottom, you will see a link to an educational resource. All of our resources are .govs. And it says, to learn more about how children get radicalized in Gaza, you click on the link. So the goal is not just to have an interactive game to learn more about the different options and really put yourself in the shoes of Palestinians, but also understand from an educational standpoint what really goes on over there, and really understand that Hamas is really the enemy here. So here we see the next slide. Nope, that's perfect. I'm not going to go through all of the small.
Basically, it's a story that's telling you about a little girl and her life living in Gaza, and how her family members oftentimes are leading her in different directions, and she's not sure what to do.
Right, so the first slide was about child soldiers. So we saw Ibrahim is maybe 15 years old. Here, Ibrahim captures an Israeli hostage, and she's, again, faced with a dilemma on how to go about it because she finds out. The next slide is about aiding hostages. So if the Israeli hostage gets injured. The next one is about altercation with Hamas soldiers. This game is live, by the way, if anyone wants to play. Next up, we have attending a Hamas rally. So do you show support? Do you pretend to be with Hamas? Next, we have how do you action upon IDF sent pamphlets? Do you think it's propaganda, or do you go ahead and seek shelter?
It's like a lot of the times we all know that Hamas will tell civilians in Gaza when a pamphlet falls down, don't believe that Zionist propaganda, that's not real. So that's one of the choices you might face in our game, where it's like you don't know what to do if you're a civilian there. And your brother's telling you one thing and your cousin's telling you something else. It's a really hard situation to go through. So that's something we wanted to highlight here.
And finally, another scenario is the little girl finds out about a missile that's about to hit Israel, and she's faced with the dilemma of either informing other people or helping Hamas. So Again, the game is live if you want to go through these options and read the prompts. But what we have here is a very rough MVP, and for future enhancements, first and foremost, what we'd like to do is really build a platform of games where one of them is Free Palestine, but we want to have to go back in history and really educate people on the truth, evidence, and in an interactive manner. We also want to introduce more AI capabilities where the game will auto-create simulations that are guided by AI parameters and thresholds that will not that will avoid terrorism on either side. We want it also to be able to generate stories, photos, videos on the fly via API instead of manually uploading them. And finally, leverage the data that we gather here to identify patterns, gauge sentiment, and learn about the different paths that people take.
So I know it was hard to read the content of what's going on in the story right now, but the moral of the story is it really is hard for civilians in Gaza right now. And we want to appeal to the sympathy of the people who feel that, which is a lot of the times what I think most of the people, I mean, I'm not sure most of the people, but a lot of the people at these pro-Palestine rallies, I don't think all of them support Hamas. I think some of them really think that the civilians in Gaza, that Israel is their enemy. So we wanted to build a product that using AI can take you on all different adventures. And we built a back-end storytelling engine that allows you, based on your choices, to get a completely different story. The images in the future we picture also being relevant to exactly what you chose. We made all the images using AI also. And yeah, we just want to let the facts tell the narrative, and that's what we're all about. Thank you.
I love how you kind of tapped into what Dan Ariely was saying about deeper exploration of the narrative, so to speak. Like you're putting people there, like Free Palestine. Would you ever go to like, all right, from the river to the sea, and then you choose that, and that actually means you're going to go in and actually slaughter all the Jews? Like, would you?
For sure. It's another thing that people are saying at these rallies. I mean, not necessarily. Okay, I just understood what you meant, but we're not trying to take any violent action in the game necessarily. Also, OpenAI is kind of limiting that ability as well, so we had to use like some other LLM models. But
when it comes to from the river to the sea, maybe linking more additional resources on what exactly it means. Which river, which sea. There's a lot of rivers out there where people don't even know which river and sea we're talking about. So educating them about the map, where Israel is, where Gaza is, with the history, what it means from the river to the sea. So it doesn't necessarily need to take a violent approach of how would you genocide. It can just be, yeah.
No, like first-person shooter.
No, I don't want to get to that part. No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Where can we play the game?
We have a
We
link.
have a live website right now. It's not, the back end from the API is not fully integrated right now, so some of the options might not work. We only had like one day to make this, so it's not fully functional. But the website is called ronpacking.github.io. Yeah, it's a GitHub link, and it works. So it's online. Not all the options work, but you'll get images. And in the future, we really want to make it something that will work.
What's the URL again?
It's ronpacking.github.io.
Ron, and then
Ron, your last name?
P.
Yeah, that's my name. Yeah.
Ron.
Yeah.
Packing.
PACKIN. .github.io.
Okay, GitHub.
Is this game seems like more targeted at Gazans, right? Not at people in New York doing like.
No, that's one of the games. So yeah, ideally in the future we'll have additional games in other places. But as I said, we want to build a platform of games. But the first game for MVP it would be Free Palestine. So Free Palestine from Hamas, really. But we're gonna.
Yeah.
That's how we lure people in. They think it's a Free Palestine from Israel, and as a player they realize, wait a minute, actually I'm learning about this.
Is there any testing or idea, like, are people just going to like, oh, this is propaganda, I'm getting out of here, or do you think you captivate them?
Well, the goal is to make them think that if anything, it's pro-Palestine propaganda because it's called Free Palestine. Right. And then eventually, once they get to the end of the game, they get to the part that says, congratulations, you've helped free Palestine from Hamas.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, that was absolutely amazing. I'm super inspired. Obviously, like this judging thing, like, is just for the fun of it, like, and also for a prize. But for people who want to keep building their projects, I think there's a variety of people who want to fund projects, and I think all of these have been really impactful. So, I think all the organizers and everyone here would be happy to help connect you guys with more funding options, etc. Because I don't think there's like I'm not trying to be cliche or lame here, but obviously there's not just like a single winner here. I think all of these projects are amazing, and you guys explored a lot of really high impact ideas. So I think let's take 5 minutes for the judges. You guys can hang out. Yeah. And yeah, we'll be back to announce the winner in about 5 minutes.
It's like we couldn't like cheer because like it's not fair. I don't know her. Like I don't know her. Listen to this already. This is funny. Also, I didn't want to tell you, but now you asked me. Basically, I looked her up. She was like, "Oh, who's Joshua gonna do it?" So I looked her up. My other like background was like, I'm like, sorry, she's like, oh, it's my friend. Like, she's married now. So yeah, married. And she went to high school. She was actually. I'm not afraid.
Okay, is everyone here? It got pretty heated in the judges' room because there was a lot of absolutely amazing projects. I'll say we're going to announce the winner of the hackathon for the NGO grants. For anyone who wants to continue working on their projects, just reach out to David, Aviv, Ryan, and I, and we'll connect you with the NGOs for the larger grant funding. So I'm going to build up anticipation here by we had a great discussion in there. So I'm going to go through each project and say what we liked about each, and then I'm going to hand it over to David to announce the runner-up and the winner. So Choose Your Own Adventure game, we felt what is that? We thought Choose Your Own Adventure game was the most creative and innovative, and we also thought that it played best to the themes that we've talked about over the weekend around building empathy and reaching out to people outside of our bubble. Combating anti-Semitism on college campuses, we felt had the most potential for long-term impact, and we thought it was really just creative thinking and a real need that exists. For 1 minute a day, we thought they did an amazing job on product thinking in terms of Ryan, don't get too excited. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I'm not gonna continue on that one. Yeah. 1 minute a day, we thought we were really impressed by the depth of product thinking around virality and leaderboards, and we think it also has the highest potential for medium-term impact. The credibility score, I think, definitely did an amazing job and stood out on execution. Just Will has literally worked on these problems for 10 years at Instagram and Facebook, and he thought you guys thought about new ideas of implementation and was really impressed with what you built. Unit 10.7 absolutely wins, or really stood out for. That wasn't. We'll see. Yeah. Who knows what's gonna happen? Yeah. Ryan's gonna get a second bottle of champagne. So. Unit 10.7 absolutely stood out for immediate impact, right? Just the fact that it's so real, that it's moving, that you guys built something that will improve something that's already having a massive impact is amazing. And then urgent political actions, shalom.wtf. We love the simplicity of it. We love the branding of it. And sometimes you don't need to connect something to 7 machine learning algorithms to have an impact. Sometimes it's really just about, yeah. I think they're both great, but it, okay, I'm going to go home. But no, seriously, I think the simplicity, thinking about branding and virality is so important. So that's what we appreciated about all the projects. Now I'm going to pass it over to David to announce the runner-up and the winners.
Thank you, Seth. I'm glad I don't have his job. You did a great job, though. All right. So, yeah, I watched a bunch of the Voice and things like that. And they say, well, that person, okay, you get to leave. We're not doing that. It's just okay. The runner-up, and this was a very close conversation, took a couple of rounds to figure out, and we had to really think through, the themes, the short-term, long-term impact, and a whole bunch of factors. It was a tough decision, and that means both of you, these two projects I'm about to mention, were really, really good and are really, really good, and we want to see them go forward. The one that we chose as the runner-up between the two that we thought were the most likely to win the contest is Unit 107. And
Seth said, we think you guys have actually had the biggest impact to date. You know, you had a very rapid mobilization and are continuing to have a great impact, and we really hope everything that you got from this hackathon only increases that, and that hopefully your services won't be needed that much longer because you know, the IDF will stand down, people go back to work, Hamas tunnels will be destroyed, and the world will live in peace. Yes. Now, toward that end of the world living in peace, just in case it doesn't get resolved that quickly, and we are set for a long-term struggle against anti-Semitism, and we need to mobilize as a global community with the greatest sophistication we can toward that, we are awarding the Hackathon Prize to Reptify. Hot. Hey. Come on up.
Okay, we had a great time this hackathon. We essentially just met, most of us, and we had such a great time and such amazing collaboration, and we built something amazing that I think definitely has some possibility for long-term impact. And I'm so happy that we made an amazing project and we became like really good friends.
That's it. Now go home and get some sleep.
Okay, everyone, l'chaim. Just remember, reach out to me or Seth or Aviv or David about continuing your projects. Please keep building, keep going. We need more of this stuff. Thanks for coming. And take some sushi home. We have so much sushi. Please take sushi. Take sushi. All right.
Guys, this worked out so well.
I don't work there anymore. Now you can pay for the book
Nice speech at the end. Everyone was very happy with
You guys almost won. It was very tight. You know what I hard part is it's really getting like some of them, they have a lot more difference in like they'll come out and watch to find out how you can like you've been through the whole thing. Okay, who won? You're like literally like the founding team. I'm not kidding. Like they live in the like the car like our job is to say